Hey everybody, it's Tom Cassidy here. I've got Bryan Sykes with me. We're talking about reasonable leadership. It's Bryan's system, Bryan's implementation of leadership in the reasonable manner, following the reasonability dogmas, the 13 by 4, the concept of marginal gains, the concept of one thing at a time, with the whole goal of getting it to be a lot easier for people to think and act reasonably. Now, one of the things that I really like about this program, Bryan, is this one we're going to do now. We're in the hand domain, and I like the hand because it's about doing, it's about action, and it's really nice. It's number 10. It's gain-gain opportunities, in particular creating gain-gain opportunities. Now, a lot of people have heard of win-win, and Stephen Covey was a big proponent of that and trying to get that into the vernacular, talking about the idea of setting up win-win opportunities. But gain-gain opportunities, I've not heard of that before. So what's that about, Bryan? I mean, as usual, you've got a different spin on things, which is really interesting. So go on, hit us with what that's all about.
Well, another word for hand, and that's why I appreciate this human-centric approach to leadership and thinking and acting reasonably, because another word for hand is power. And so you remember before we've been talking about this concentration of power, the
Yeah.
difference between a bad cop and good cop. So when the concentration of power is aggregated in one direction from a very narrow perspective, you see an imbalance. And to me, I'm not against win-win opportunities, but symbolically, the language is the difference between saying value added, which I don't say. I say value adding, which means it's ongoing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's the same thing when you talk about gain gain, because here's the subtle difference between win win and gain gain. If my win is greater than your win, you're going to feel cheated.
Right.
However, if I position it from the perspective of what can we both gain so that we both evolve, once again, I'm better positioned for the greater life for all aspect. And that's where this whole idea of creating gain opportunities. I'll give you an example of it because I just read a report in the Wall Street Journal not too long ago. And they were talking about businesses who do business with Walmart, the largest retailer in the world.
Yeah.
And so these small businesses says, you know what, it might seem like a win-win situation for us, but we're hurting when we do business with Walmart, and here's why. Walmart sets these parameters for them to do business with them, and so their price structure is uniquely different. So if they want to sell high-end prices than other retailers, they're not necessarily allowed to do that. So Walmart wins, but for them, the same win, same effect of win or result of win is not there
Mm.
for them. And so
Mm.
now they have to go back to the drawing table and say, okay, wow, it'll be excellent to do business with Walmart, but my goodness, I have to refigure some things out here. And we see the
Mm.
same thing happen in different aspects of leadership. If all the concentration of power is at the top and the organization wins, but I'm left at the bottom where I can't be empowered and exercise my unique talents and strength, then the organization wins, but I feel cheated. So over time, this is what you find with employees. There's compliance because they don't want to lose their job, the work that they're doing, but they're not committed. And this is exactly why we see these statistics that says there's 380 billions worth of dollars for people to show up at work because Harvard coined the term presenteeism, and people are disconnected or disengaged. An issue of concentration of power. There's no gain opportunities there.
Mm.
It's one directional.
That's fascinating. What I love about it, and what I really got from that explanation was win-win would seem to relate to an event. We're associating in our subconscious with, winning a match or winning a game or winning a tournament, whereas gain-gain is very much a longitudinal process. It's something that can extend way beyond a single event. And so is there any leadership which is event-based? No, presumably leadership is all a continuity. It's a relationship-based rather than an event-based operation. So I think gain-gain opportunity sets up the language for a reasonable approach over an extended period of time. I love it.
Absolutely, and that's the whole idea. It's called symbolic language, and we underappreciate sometimes words and their value because they become so commonplace. But
Yeah.
when you frame things from the beginning, which is what set the intention is, which we'll talk about next, when you frame things adequately from the beginning through the right attitude or with the right attitude, with the right mindset, the right perspective, once again, you set yourself up for the conditions. So you set the conditions from the beginning, and that's what creating gain-gain opportunities allows you to do.
Bryan, thanks once again for your time. That's fantastic. You'll be able to click on the links below or in this video, which will take you to a sample of Bryan's work, a sample of reasonable leadership and the effectiveness of this idea of taking one thing at a time. And if anyone wants to Google Bryan Sykes, and if they put Bryan Sykes and leadership or Bryan Sykes and career development into Google, they'll find a plethora of stuff, a deluge of stuff out there from this guy, and all of it it's beautifully simple and practical and implementable, but it's also got evidence of this deep thinking behind it. And so for me, just as a kind of combination of left brain, right brain things, which is kind of all of us. A lot of people say, well, I'm right brain really. Well, you're not, you're both actually. And
Yes.
so what I like is, even though we might have a tendency, a preference for one or the other, what you've done brilliantly is you've got the right brain satisfied because it's kind of cool, it's artistic, and you've got all this implementation and spontaneity built into it, but you've got the left brain, the logic, and the discipline of the language and all that sort of stuff. So very impressive. It's really good. I'm delighted to be part of getting this out to a wider audience. So thanks again for your time, Bryan, and I'll see you in the next one.
Okay, thank you.